All right. You missed it, Jesus. You got to go to it a little earlier. We had some funky-ass dancing by JR. We almost caught him. All right. It is the third hour. It is absolutely, positively time for fun. Now, here's what's going on in this hour. Number one, we're going to rank Tiger Woods' girlfriends. It's terrible. We shouldn't do it. I immediately denounce and reject everyone involved in this show. But we're going to do that in a little bit, okay? And then furthermore, we are going to do the world's worst husband, okay? Why is he the worst husband? We're going to find out. And then Casper made me save the Sarah Palin racism story till the third hour. So we're going to do that here, okay? Did you see how I blogged it out on Sarah Palin?
Oh, you blogged it out?
Yeah, I sent you the blog, but that's okay.
I know
No.
did.
It's cool. Don't worry about a thing, okay?
No, I read it. It was really good. It was a good blog. I bet it's on Huffington Post, right?
Sure.
Huffington Post picked it up?
Please, come on. Now it's number one on Daily Kos again, but it's not a big deal. I didn't mention a thing. I don't know what you're talking about. Okay, so all that's coming up, but I'm going to start with sports. Oh, by the way, again, don't mention the fact that I got a really cool haircut. Not a big deal at all.
I was going to ask you about it. You didn't even give me the opportunity.
No. Hush, don't even say a word.
Are you going to tell us your haircut story, like how much you tipped the person? And
Oh, God, that's a good story. Okay, definitely either in the third hour or in the post game. Okay, so it's coming.
Okay.
It's coming to your house. The only question is how and when. All right, so now let's move forward because I got a couple of sports stories that I want to start with from over the weekend. All right, the first one is about the BCS. So the matchups have been announced, and we got some great matchups. Alabama versus Texas makes all the sense in the world. Number 1 versus number 2. They're both undefeated, and they're going to play basically in the championship game here. And then we got a great matchup of two other undefeated teams, TCU and Boise State. Now, that sounds like a lot of fun. That was a lot of fun last year when they had that same matchup. I'm going to tell you why I'm angry about that in a second. And then other great games, Oregon versus Ohio State. I can't wait to watch that. I mean, look, I've been this excited, honestly, about the college, postseason, if you will, in a while. I'm looking forward to these games. And then finally, Cincinnati versus Florida. Cincinnati's undefeated. Florida, of course, in a shocker, at least it was shocking to me, lost to Alabama and lost pretty badly over the weekend. So it'll be interesting to see how those two play out. Now, but that's not the real story. The real story is how blindingly dumb and unjust the BCS is. I mean, you got 8 great teams, right? You got a couple others that aren't bad, right? But those 8 teams are fantastic. Will you, for the love of God and everything that is holy and American, just do a playoff already? Who doesn't want to see the playoff? Raise your hand if you're an American and you don't want to see a college football playoff system.
all right.
Look at this.
My hand is up.
Okay, your hand is up. But the only reason it's up is because you don't want to see it, whether it's BCS or playoff or anything, right?
No, I like football playoffs in the NFL. It's interesting.
Okay.
That's when it gets hot and heated and people do crazy things.
That's why you want to see the playoffs.
I want to see the playoffs for the NFL, yeah.
How about college football?
I have no interest in college football.
Okay.
I have even less interest in college football than I do in the NFL.
Okay, so Anna's right. There are a number of people in America who wouldn't watch it under any circumstance. If you paid them and you said, hey, look, BCS or playoff, they're like, who cares? Okay, they don't watch. But among football fans, 99.99% of us want to see a playoffs rather than this dumb-ass BCS system that makes no sense, okay? So now everybody knows that, but money, tradition, it's nonsense that drives me crazy, right? And look, you could make just as much money in the playoffs. Here's what I guarantee you, in fact. You will make more money in a playoff system. You think people are going to watch that playoffs? You think Boise State goes up against Florida in the playoffs, and people are going to watch it? They're not going to watch it. They're not going to watch it. You're crazy, okay? Now, of course, the question is, who gets paid, too, right? And the people running the bowls are jealous about the money. They're like, no. Dude, call the first round the Fiesta Bowl. Call the second round the Sugar Bowl. Who cares? How stupid are you? All right, now, getting beyond that. My particular anger this year is TCU versus Boise State. Now, I love those teams. They're both undefeated. It's going to be a fun matchup. But what? The whole point is they don't get to play against the big guys. And they constantly get discounted no matter how undefeated they are because they don't get to play against the big guys. Why don't you put them against the big guys? The one opportunity you have. Why don't you let Boise State play Florida? I mean, again, who wouldn't watch that game? That's crazy. Okay? And let TCU play one of the other big guys. Let them play Ohio State. And you know what? If they really are that good right now, they're ranked higher. Let them kick the crap out of Ohio State. How awesome would that be? Or we find out that, in fact, they were full of crap. Ohio State crushes TCU. Florida beats Boise State 52-0. I don't know. Let's find out. What's the matter with you? Can you tell I'm a little worked up about this? All right. Now that I'm done ranting, JR, are you with me or against me?
That we need to go ahead and let them play the games.
One, they got
little guys versus big guys.
Yeah.
Still have your bowl system, and except do it as a playoff.
Yeah.
100% with you. You agree? 100% with you. Why not? I mean, listen. I'll give you an example. The last time that the big dog played the little guy, Boise State in Oklahoma, 2 years ago, wasn't it?
Yeah.
What happened? Probably one of the most memorable college football plays of all time. To end with I think that was the most exciting game of that postseason.
Now, if you can find 3 college football games in history that were better, I'm going to congratulate you. And you might. There've been thousands of unbelievably interesting college football games, right? But Boise State and Oklahoma that year, I mean, that's in everyone's top 10 at least for one of the best football games ever. Why wouldn't you do that again? Sometimes the irrationality of people just drives me crazy. And you know what the Young Turks is about? It's about fighting that kind of irrationality and ignorance.
You know what the problem is?
Yes.
People want to keep it status quo. It's like the healthcare debate.
Yeah.
I'm not going to get there. This is going to be devastating if we go there. But generally, you have the top schools. The top schools that people are used to seeing win. And some of which haven't been there. The Michigans, the Ohio States, USC, Florida, all these good schools, Oklahoma. And then they saw it happen with Boise State, and they said, they can lose to these guys. We cannot let this happen. This can't be a normal thing that little guys like Boise State can beat Oklahoma. Next, they're going to beat in Florida. Next, they're going to beat USC. Then they're going to make Notre Dame look worse than it does already.
So, they'd beat Notre Dame to a pulp, man.
Right, I just think they don't like. There's nothing college football wants more than for Notre Dame to resurge and Michigan to resurge, because we can't have any new guys be good. What are they talking about? Stanford? What's Stanford doing beating USC for? Come on, that's what I'm saying. Nobody wants the new thing going on, so they're going to keep it the way it is. Nobody wants any change.
You're going to make me go off. I'm going to try to bring it down here for a second because, look, earlier in the year I was going to do a story on this. Boise State, for 2 years from now, not next year, but the year after that, they're trying to get big-name schools to play them. They're begging, okay? They say, you're better than us, right? Why don't you play us, right? And no one will play them. Because it starts with a P. So what's that word I'm looking for? But I'm not going to say it. You know why? It's all about the money, Lebowski. They lose to Boise State. Then you say, hey, wait a minute. Why is Oklahoma getting these big TV contracts if they can't even beat Boise State? Why don't we give the big contracts to Boise State? So they don't want to play them. And then they turn around and go, oh, no, Boise State, you can't make the big games. You don't play anybody big. He's like, I'm begging you to play somebody big. It's maddening, absolutely maddening. Okay, that's enough on college football. But one more quick sports story that's fun for everybody. Anna's been dying to do it all weekend long. It's obviously Ascoli versus Regina in the Italian second division, Serie B, if you will. I have no idea if I said that right. But it's obvious. Everybody knows this. Now, why are we talking about the Italian second division soccer? Okay, because, Anna, they did something nice. So what happened was, in soccer, sometimes you, if someone's injured, you kick out the ball, right?
Right.
To get a little break or whatever, and both sides agree to it. It's gentlemen. Blah, blah, blah. In this case,
Carlos Valdez did that. See, I know stuff.
Dying to talk about it all weekend. Dying. Okay. So looking to kick it out because he's injured, and the Ascoli guy grabs the ball, doesn't realize that he's doing it because he's injured, goes and gives a pass. They score. Okay. So now the other team is enraged, and they get in a little bit of fight, right? And we're going to show you the video in a second, right? And then when the Ascoli realizes, oh, that's our bad, they let the other team, come back and score on purpose. I believe that's what we call sportsmanship, right?
That's like that's the only thing to do.
That's the only thing to do, okay? Although I think a lot of people would disagree. All right, so roll the video now, Jesus, as we talk about what happened. Okay, so the guy intercepts the ball there, you see it, And you see the players from Regina like saying, hey, what are you doing? What are you doing here? And then they go ballistic. You know, the usual soccer antics, melodrama. You know, one of the Regina guys gets kicked out, gets a red card for, you know, pushing one of the Ascoli players. There he goes. He's being sent off. That's what they say in soccer. He's being sent off. That sounds very, like he's been very naughty. Okay. So they let the other team score now. Watch this. Everybody's having fun, right? Human beings doing the right thing. How often does that happen in sports, professional sports? Almost never. Now, as it turns out, Ascoli really didn't have a chance in this league anyway, and their coach is the former coach of Regina. Mm-hmm. So there are a lot of reasons why they did it, but okay, it's fine. Now people are going crazy. How dare you do this sportsmanlike conduct? How dare you?
Because it's the right thing to do.
Unprofessional, possibly illegal. You cannot let them score like this. The ref should have never allowed it. La 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 la, ba da 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 da. I mean, people are crazy. They're nuts.
Okay. What's the first problem in the first place? He wasn't supposed to steal the ball. Maybe I missed the beginning of this whole thing. He wasn't supposed to steal the ball, so they said, oh, I'm sorry, we complained because you stole the ball and scored. What's the problem?
Yeah, because if they're injured, sometimes they kick it out. And it's just normal soccer etiquette that when they're kicking...
Oh, someone went down in the middle of play and there was no stoppage.
Yeah, right, basically.
And it's etiquette to kick the ball out and let this guy get his faking broken leg ass off the field.
That's right.
Right?
Yes.
Because he's probably faking anyway. So
yes.
So they didn't let him crawl off and they scored instead.
That's right.
So when did they realize that this didn't happen? You said they realized later and said, "Oh my God, we were wrong for being mad."
No, Regina was right to be mad. Ascoli was wrong to have scored. They realized after the brawl, okay? And after they realized it, they said, "Okay, excuse our bad day. You can go ahead and score." Okay? So they go do it. By the way, it backfired on them. They wound up losing 3-1.
Yeah.
But you know what? They would have lost 2-1. So it's a good thing they did it. The thing that drives me crazy is everybody else complaining about it. You can't complain about a sportsman maneuver, man. I mean, even if you don't agree with it, it's a good thing to do. It's the right thing to do. Can we just have a little bit of people acting like human beings just every once in a while? Is that possible? Has that become illegal now? Come on, man. Everybody put an arm around each other. Be a good lib. And let this one go, okay?
Give everyone a Christian side hug.
Yeah, come on. Christian side hug this one out, okay? All right.
All right. Let's talk about Sarah Palin.
Go.
Okay, so if you could remember, Sarah Palin was university hopping, okay?
I do remember. She went to, 4 universities, I think?
I think she went to 4 different universities.
She would just jump back and forth, sometimes to the same university. I have a theory on that that's very scandalous. But anyway, go ahead.
All right. One of the universities she went to was in Hawaii, right? And she was only there for an extremely short period of time. And it's funny because she talked about why she decided to leave Hawaii. So I'm going to read you her quote. She says, "Perpetual sunshine isn't necessarily conducive to serious academics for 18-year-old Alaska girls."
Yeah, because I know Sarah Palin was all about serious academics at the time.
Right.
Okay, because as you can tell, she's been doing nothing but studying ever since. I mean, she knows her stuff. Okay, but you know what? To give her credit, if you believe her, it's kind of her admitting I was partying too much.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Not conducive to serious academics because as an 18-year-old, Hawaii, la la la. If you believe her. Okay. Now there's another theory on this.
Now, her father came out. I don't know why her father would sell her out like this, but his name is Chuck Heath, and he gave a different reason for why she left Hawaii. According to him, the presence of so many Asians and Pacific Islanders made her uncomfortable. They were a minority type thing, and it wasn't glamorous, so she came home.
That throws me for so many loops. They were a minority type thing. Yeah, I suppose they were, right? So it wasn't glamorous.
What does that mean?
I don't know what that means. It's like hanging out with minorities wasn't glamorous. She thought Hawaii was going to be like Hawaii 5-0. And then all of a sudden she's like, what is this? It's just like people from Hawaii here.
Right.
And so she's like, this isn't glamorous. So some minorities running around. And came home. Look, I don't know which side you believe. But it is a curious thing to make up if you're the dad.
Yeah, why would her dad make that up?
Yeah.
That doesn't make any sense.
I get the sense from the dad that he's unsavvy enough that he doesn't understand he just accidentally threw her under the bus.
Right.
Like he rolled her under the bus, boom, 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 right? But he's like, what do you mean? I mean, they were minorities. That's not, who who wants to hang out with minorities? So obviously she came back home.
Yeah, and that whole oblivious characteristic is very much something that we notice in Sarah Palin. So the apple doesn't fall far from the tree.
Right. So now, of course, you know, Sarah Palin defenders will, of course, say, no, 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 or dad doesn't know what he's saying. And look, you know, we don't know for sure. Maybe the dads, you know, some older folks are like, you know, maybe he's projecting his feelings onto her.
Right.
No, I just want to be fair.
Right,
It's possible. If the dad is right, that's a little devastating. And then apparently he said she went to Idaho where people there were more like the people in Alaska, so she felt more comfortable. Gee, I wonder what that alludes to. But at least it was outside of Alaska, so she was having fun and going crazy. But you know what's glamorous? Idaho. All right, now can I do a little bit of...
I think it's kind of what we call speculation.
Okay, am
Oh,
I allowed?
I can't wait to hear this. Yes, do it.
Okay. Now, you have to understand, this is not fact-based. Okay, so everybody calm down, 10-2, 10-2, right? She skipped around so many different colleges. Why does somebody go from one college to another like that? Usually when they're trying to run away from something, okay? Not necessarily all the time. A lot of people switch colleges. What was she running away from?
I don't know. I don't want to share my theory because my theory is like explosive.
Explosive. Okay.
Because-
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, go.
See, look, let's put it this. At a bare minimum, I mean, she went to work at those schools.
No, exactly. Like,
Okay. And then she feels terrible about herself because she's conservative and she's this and she's that and that's not her. And then words going around about Sarah Palin. And when word starts to get around, she's got to run. She's got to go. She's got to go to Idaho. She's got to go back to Hawaii. She's got to do this. She's got to do that, right? So I'm saying my speculation is at a bare minimum. But can you figure out what the maximum is? You know what you're thinking. You know what I'm thinking. But we haven't said a word, okay? And like I said, just to be fair and clear again,
I think it's kind of what we call speculation.
okay? And so just take it for what it's worth. But you see what I'm saying. Okay. Did I do a good job of leaving it there?
yeah, I think we did.
Okay, all right. You know what? Then let's take a quick break. Let's come back with Tiger Woods scandals.
Okay.
And let's come back with the worst husband in the world,
In the world.
Young Turks. All right, back on the Young Turks. We got a lot of fun stories ahead for you guys. But let's do the one we've been promising you. Tiger Woods, different mistresses. We are now up to 7 mistresses for Tiger Woods. And we're going to do something we shouldn't do because we're bad people. We're going to rank them in hotness. Okay, right from the get-go, denounce and reject ourselves, especially me because I came up with the idea.
Right.
All right, so give us the list, Anna, and then tell us who they are.
Okay, the first girl who came into the scene was Rachel Uchitel. We all know that. She was allegedly the mistress that started the fight between Tiger Woods and his wife. And she has denied dating him and she has denied having an affair with him. However, several of her friends have said that she's lying, she has had an affair with him. In fact, she's known for dating married celebrities. That's what she's known for doing.
Oh, that's okay. Stay classy, San Diego.
And People magazine released an article about her claiming that she's really upset because now a bunch of other mistresses are coming forward and saying that they've slept with Tiger Woods.
No, my favorite part of that story was she said, she was really disappointed that Tiger's sleeping around with other mistresses. Meanwhile, though, she was also sleeping with other guys.
Right.
But she says, you know what? I had felt that even though I was sleeping with other guys, now this is according to their sources, right? Even though I was sleeping with other guys, I felt like I was beginning to click with Tiger Woods. So how could he be sleeping with other women while married to someone else, while I'm sleeping with other guys, when I felt we were slightly clicking?
God.
Okay, so class act, but nonetheless fairly hot. Okay, you got to give it to her.
Okay.
I mean, she's got that kind of sexy look. Without the glasses, the face is slightly weird, but I'm still into it.
You know why the face is weird? Because it's screaming plastic surgery. Do you notice that? Am I the only one who notices that? She's one of those women who's one plastic surgery away from looking like Catwoman.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no, I see what you're saying. She could be on her way to disaster, but for now, she's hanging in there fairly solidly.
Okay.
Okay, so what's that?
All right, and the second mistress that came into the limelight was Jamie Grubbs. She's the Las Vegas cocktail waitress who has released the voicemails that Tiger Woods has left her. She is super harsh when it comes to releasing information about their affair.
We ran the audio. We told you about the text. It's unfortunate, but it happened. It's out there in the world. We've ranked her as pretty skanky, but you know what? Nonetheless, fairly hot. So I'm looking forward to ranking her in a second, and possibly enraging Anna. All right, so let's move forward.
You're gonna rank her second?
Let's be cool. Let's be cool. Let's find out.
All right. Number 3 was Kalika Mokeen. She is a native of Montana, and she worked at some nightclub in Las Vegas. There she is.
Yeah, you know, she's probably the coolest one because she actually won't go on the record, right? And she won't rat out Tiger Woods, although somehow we found out. But nonetheless, you got to give her a little bit of credit. But on the looks department,
no, come on. I think she's pretty. I think she's the most. No, can I just say something? I think she's the most normal-looking one, because she's not, you know, plastic surgeryed up. She's not wearing a ton of makeup.
Yeah, not buying it. Look, don't get me wrong.
Worst.
Even the worst one of them, like in my heyday, I'd have been like, please, 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 I'm begging. Okay, but nonetheless, among those three, okay. What's next?
The next one is Jamie Jungers. Now we're on.
Can I pause here? Jamie Jungers. I mean, look at the names on these women, right? Like Jamie Grubbs, Jamie Jungers. Why doesn't he just date like Betty Boobs? You know, Teresa Tatas. Jennifer Jugs. While you're at it, what is this Jamie Jungers?
Jamie Jungers.
Okay.
She's a Las Vegas model who claims that she met Tiger Woods in a Vegas nightclub. She also claims to have met up with him in California and Chicago numerous times. She says that their affair lasted 2 years.
Okay. Yeah, she's cute. She's cute, but God, so boring, so vanilla. I'm so bored by her. Okay, keep it going.
All right. Number 5 is Mindy Lawton. She's a waitress in Orlando. He loves the waitresses and, you know, cocktail waitresses and bartenders.
You know why? Because that's the people he meets. He's out in a restaurant or he's out in Vegas or whatever, and these hot girls come up to him. They're like, "Hey, Tiger, how are you?" He's like, "Yeah, let's go back to my place and I'll show you how good I really am."
Disaster.
Oh, no. Oh, no. What have you done? I hadn't seen this one. Tiger,
Disaster.
what have you done? This is like the Steve Phillips affair. Oh. Okay, well, we know who's coming in 7th.
Look, I love the expression on his face in that picture. Like, yeah, I fucked up.
I shouldn't have gone there. You know it, I know it. Okay, again, I feel bad for her. I mean, she's just trying to be a good mistress. But, I mean, among the 7, you got to keep it real, right? All right, so let's move forward.
By the way, she claims that she had a year-long affair with him.
Tiger, I'd have gone for about a week. Okay. If at all. But anyway, keep it going.
Number 6 is Corey Rist. Little is known about her, but she is a socialite in the Manhattan nightlife scene.
Who these people who live as socialites? They amuse me to no end. She's a Hooters girl. How's she a socialite? Okay, but you know, it's the body's still pretty kicking. God, he loves those whitey white girls. I mean, can we get a sister up in here? Okay. I mean, how about other parts of your ethnicity? You ever date an Asian girl? Jeez, and Lord mercy. Go wild a little bit. Try an Indian. All these girls are whitey white, and then half of them are blondie blonde.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. What's next?
All right, and the final mistress that has come to the public eye is Holly Sampson. She's a Los Angeles porn star.
How you do it? Well, it's hard to go wrong with porn stars. It's also a little hard to go right with them, given that she is your 7th mistress that we know of, and you know, and you're married. So
she's made 85 appearances in pornographic films. 85.
You know, but I watched the trailer for one of them, and to be fair to her, it's not hardcore. It's not like facials and stuff.
Yeah,
it's like Emmanuel kind of crap. You know,
Emmanuel is exactly what it is.
Yeah.
But no. Like, watching it, I thought it was like the most boring porn on earth. Like, I would not watch that.
No, it's super softcore.
Not only is it softcore, it's like the lovey-dovey, sensuous kind of thing.
Yeah, well, I guess that's what Tiger's into. Okay, so let me check out the
Tiger's into anyone.
Yeah, apparently. I mean, you walk and tigers into you and out of you and then in you. Okay, let me check out your list now. Here, I'm going to rank them real quick, okay? First of all, we know who's coming in 7th. Let's keep it real, okay? That's Mindy Lawton, right? And then I'm going to work backwards. I'm going to put Kalika at number 6. I feel kind of, so that's number 7 right there, Mindy. I feel kind of bad about Kalika, but I'm going number 6 on her.
Oh, come on.
Okay, look, I'm the bad guy. Everybody knows it. And then who's the girl that was boring me to tears? Jamie Jungers? Look, maybe I'm wrong, and I think a lot of guys will disagree with me on that, but snooze fest. I mean, you can't get any more vanilla than this. Just, I'm interested in, like, you know, other kinds of flavors. You know, give me a little peanut butter cup action. Give me a banana. Give me something, right? But this ain't helping anybody out. Okay, in my opinion. All right, and then, you know what? They're very similar. I'm going to go Corey Rist at number 4 then, okay? And because she's, you know, she's a Manhattan nightlife socialite from Hooters, okay? And, you know, she's pretty hot. She's pretty hot. But the other blonde girls are slightly hotter. So I'll go to Holly Sampson, number 3. I know she's a porn star, but she's working it. She's owning it. And I like that picture. I'm down with that. Okay, she's a little older. I appreciate that. Tiger's at least branching out in the age category. Okay, and number 2, I'm going to put Rachel Uchitow. Because, you know, she's got that kind of sexy look going on. You got to give it to her a little bit. I agree with the plastic surgery point, but she's not quite there yet. She's not quite Catwoman. Tiger caught her at the right time. Okay? And then number 1, because I'm the bad guy.
Who is it?
Jamie Grubbs.
I can't believe Jamie Grubbs is number 1. Look, I'm not going to go through the list of ranking them, right? She does not belong at number 1.
Look,
Jamie Grubbs does not.
she's so naughty. You know it, though.
Ew.
I mean, look at her. She's such a bad girl. She's the kind of girl that's going to save your messages. And she's going to sell you out. But it's going to be wrong the whole time. You see what I'm saying? She's got a little flavor to her. I'm going Jamie Grubbs, number 1.
Crazy.
I'm sorry. I had to do it. Okay. Now, that's our official TYT list ranking of Tiger's mistresses. I think we're the only ones doing it. But so it's official now. You know, right or wrong, it's official. There's no way around it. But now that I've done that, I'm a little curious as to JR and Jesus' opinions, too. Okay, Jesus, let me go with you, okay? Did I get it roughly right, or have I made any egregious mistakes?
No, I think roughly right. The blondes you could totally swap, like the porn star and that other boring one. You could totally go give or take. So, but
By
yeah,
the
but
way,
the top ones, I could kind of agree. Yeah, but I think I would have ranked her a little higher though.
Yeah, I did her a little wrong.
Yeah, I think she was.
Yeah, but the minute I
she's
saw
the
her,
playoff system, man. Yeah, I mean, come on.
I know,
You
I
gotta
know.
let 'em-
I Fiesta bowled her.
You Fiesta bowler.
It's just so wrong. I mean, she's up against TCU for no reason.
Yeah, exactly. So,
I don't know what that
I think
means.
I would have moved her up in the rankings a bit.
All right, fair enough, fair enough. Very, very good analysis. I appreciate that.
I wanted to add one thing. The woman that's ranking at number 7, she released a lot of information about her sexual encounters with Tiger Woods.
No,
So
she
let's
did.
put up a picture of Mindy Lawton, the brunette.
Oh boy.
Yeah, I forgot to talk to you about this. So she's gone to the press and she's released a quote saying he's very well endowed and he knows his way around the bedroom. On a scale of 1 to 10, I'd give him a 12.
Right.
She also talks about what kind of panties he likes.
Yeah, that's wrong.
She's so wrong. His favorite underwear were my red panties with black lace. He had a thing about red, and he said that he always wore it on Friday, as that was his mother's favorite color.
Okay, super creepy. Okay, here's what I don't want my mistresses wearing. My mom's favorite color.
And then finally, he would send her text message, and this is all alleged, right? He would send her text message saying, dreaming of being inside of you.
Yeah. All right, but I'll give you a caveat on this one. That's the fishiest one to me.
Yeah.
I think there's some chance that she's totally lying. Like, I think there's some chance Tiger didn't even sleep with her. That she was among the 4 women in the country that Tiger did not sleep with. Okay, so take what she says with a grain of salt. Now, that cuts in both directions for Tiger, because half of it was disastrous, half of it was not so bad. I mean, if I'm going to have mistresses, the rumor I want them spreading around is that I'm that I'm a warmonger, that I'm a, that I'm a wrecker. I'm bringing things that shouldn't be brought to parties. Okay, all right, go ahead, Ace.
But how serious can you take all these women as mistresses? Like, can't they all just be one night stands? Like, he happened to be in New York and he happened to fuck one of them? Like,
No,
I'm sure he's put away a whole bunch more than 7.
Oh, yeah.
But it's
Come
like,
on.
these could have been just like maybe 2 nights. He was in Rio. I don't know. You know what I mean?
Okay, two excellent points. Number one, when the first 3 came out, I said, if there's 3, there's 30. Okay, and if there's 30, there's some chance there's 300. Okay, he's Tiger Woods, right? I mean, what are girls going to say? No in general? No, they're going to say yes in general. Okay, not every time, obviously, right? So these are just the ones we know about so far. And then here's where it gets mixed up. Now that it's all, it's chaos, who's right, who's not, who's telling the truth, who's not, they're going to all come out of the woodwork.
I know.
Okay? And then now we'll never know, okay, which ones were real and which ones weren't. And you know what? That's going to be a tragedy. Because we really needed to know which ones were the real mistresses and which weren't. Now, to the second question of Jesus, were these all real mistresses or were they one-night stands? First, Jesus, they all say, our affair lasted for a year, or 2 years, or 3 years. You know what that means? Every time he came back to Orlando, he'd fuck. Okay, and he came back to Orlando 2 or 3 times over the span of 2 years. Hence, mistress, and the affair went on for 2 years. No, he just hit you when he saw you. He's like, oh, how you doing, Mindy? All right, come on. Get in there. Okay, and in her mind, she's like, I don't want to say anything, but I'm Tiger Woods' mistress. Okay. They all have their own fantasies going on, because who doesn't want to be Tiger Woods' mistress? Because it's fun, it's drama in your life, Otherwise, you're a cocktail waitress in Orlando. Okay, which could be fun, but, it's spice in your life. So, no, of course you're right. They're not real mistresses. They're just people he winds up sleeping with in that particular town. Look,
you know what? I'm talking so big because I'm not in the situation. And who knows what I would do if I was in the situation, right? But, dude, screw the money. You got to leave his ass. His wife has to leave his ass. She looks like a fool.
No way. Okay, first off,
divorce him.
No.
Divorce him and settle for whatever money you have under the prenup. That's still a ton of money. $22 million.
Be cool for a second. If the stories are true, it's not like she didn't do enough. She tore his ass up, quite literally. She's like, here, watch this. Right? And then she's chasing his ass with a golf club. It's not like she didn't do strike back.
Yeah.
I mean, you want strike back. She gave you plenty of strike back.
But she needs
and then
more.
The best strike back is cold, hard cash.
I know.
And you know it, I know it, the American people know it. And according to those reports, again, if any of this stuff is true, $55 million to stay with him for 2 years and lose face and look like a fool, quote unquote, et cetera, et cetera. I'd take that in a second, man. I'd be like, honey, what other misters would you like, okay, for $55 million extra?
What I'm wondering is, during those 2 years, is she going to have a little strike back of her own? And I'm talking about physically, sexually, yada, yada. And I'm also wondering, after those 2 years are up, is she going to leave his ass?
Look, I don't know. I think the main thing she's thinking, if I was her, is how do I cash this check? Okay? How do I get this $55 million in my bank account? Once I do that, then it's open season.
Okay, that's interesting.
Then I'm the first person I'm going to is Charles Barkley. Try to drive him nuts a little bit. Who cares? I'll go hit up Michael Jordan. You think they won't do it? Oh, they'll do it. Okay, they'll be like, oh, Tiger's old wife.
No, and it's interesting that you say that because we gave her a really hard time when they renegotiated their prenup, right? So now, after we know that he's had at least 7 mistresses, are you still giving her a hard time about it, or do you think she's playing it right?
No, but as I said at the time, it's ridiculous. It's outrageous. But I don't hate the player. I hate the game.
You hate the game.
I think the system's ridiculous. Given the circumstances she's in, who's not going to take $55 million? Who? Wendy says it's everyone's fault. Who? Okay. But afterwards, the gardener, Ron Artest, okay, the pool man, I mean, whatever. Whoever's in the vicinity. Look, I'm trying to look out for you. What was her name? Ellen?
Ellen?
Okay.
I don't know, whatever.
Okay. All right.
Miss
Look,
Woods.
we got to take the break. But when we come back, the worst husband in the world.
And shockingly, it's not Tiger Woods.
Yeah, oh yeah, this guy makes Tiger Woods look like a champ. All right, Young Turks.
The brothers and the folks.
All right, back on the Young Turks. Now, before we do the worst husband in the world, I got to thank members as I usually do. Lately, I've been going on the same page. I like to do different pages, but I don't know. I'm going crazy like this. All right, I'm going with Bernie Riley, Bernard Riley. He was member number 738, joined up on March 31st of 2008, which now is a long time ago. And then right above him is member number 736, Mr. Rogers, Matthew Rogers, March 29th of 2008. And then later on the page, 749, I'm going to throw a freebie in there because I don't have his name. He just goes by Clown. Interesting. But with a K, he's mixing it up. So now we have a lot of great stories left over. It's a Monday, so action-packed post-game show. Oh, but we got to make it quick. Now, it won't be live, but I guarantee you I'm going to do the haircut story, okay? But let me do a quick shout-out on that. The person who did it was Diana at David Drew Salon in Beverly Hills. Please. Okay, and it was a rich person's experience. And I got a little view into how rich people live, which I loved. Made me want to go work at Goldman Sachs.
I'm so interested in your story now.
Okay. Maybe I'm overblowing it. I don't know. But we've got to save that for the post game for the members. All right. Yes.
I run the risk of not getting us to do what everything else we want to do, but I had one thing that came to mind about, not specifically Tiger Woods, but because of this. Please let's not talk about it afterwards. But any woman, and this, I could be wrong. I don't want to say that. I'm an idiot. Many women generally that marry professional athletes, big name, superstar, world-renowned professional athletes, know that they cheat. And I don't want to hear you say, oh, my God, I can't believe he cheated. Oh, my God. Half the reason is, yeah, you want to be with this professional athlete because of the lifestyle, because he's a professional athlete, because he's this, because you're Mrs. Tiger Woods, you're Mrs. Michael Jordan. Now, maybe not back in the day before they were making so much money on signing bonuses. But if you met him in his element somewhere. You know that there's women everywhere. You know how he is. If you're surprised that he cheats, you're not. You're lying. It's like going on a reality TV show and saying, I didn't know they could have cameras on me the whole time. You signed up for this. You know what it is. Now, I'm not saying it's right that they cheat, but you know it's going to. And they're okay with it, I think, to an extent, somewhere in the back of their mind, that they'll go, if he cheats, at least then I'll be known as this woman who took all of his money, and you still were able to be with him. You still can get your cut of the money. I just don't think they're all the 100% these naive women that come out here and be like, I married him for love and I thought he was all about me after all those bitches that I fought past to get to him. It's like a competition to marry this guy. It's like going through the college ranks getting drafted to the NBA to marry this professional athlete. If you got one of the top dogs, please don't give me that shit. That's all.
You know what? Mr. Jackson makes a compelling point. He does.
I don't think it's compelling at all.
Compelling.
No.
My final thought on Tiger is, Jamie Jungers, really? I mean, every one of these girls has a porn name, right? But Jamie Jungers? I don't know. I can't get over that name. All right. Sorry.
Do you think these women, Anna, meet him at a coffee shop and then they never see him around any other women their whole life? Or do you think they see these thousands of women, they're throwing themselves at him, and a lot of times they're fighting because they're one of these thousands of women, and when they get him, they're like, oh, he's totally done.
Look, in the specific case of Tiger Woods, just to give you an example, they didn't meet that way. She didn't fight over him or anything. In fact, she was at one of the tournaments, he saw her, and he was so shy that he had to get one of his friends to approach her.
Oh, right. Good one.
All right, okay. So, and she wasn't into it.
Not a good one.
So, are you guys just going to dismiss everything I say, or are you going to listen to what I'm saying?
No. I believe what you're saying. I've read the same things. Don't get me wrong. Okay, I just don't believe the people who are saying them. Like, I don't believe her. Okay, when she says, "Oh, I wasn't initially interested."
Okay, and even if you don't believe that, so what are you saying? Everyone that has any bit of fame or anyone who is extremely attractive is going to have mistresses, and women should just stay away from them and look for some ugly douchebag who has not douchebag, but look for some, unattractive guy who has some lame job, I don't know, doing something that doesn't require any celebrity or any popularity whatsoever. That's the only way you're not going to get cheated on.
No, just don't think it's not going to happen. When you are seeing the lifestyle, you know the lifestyle. Okay, Anna, if you meet one of the top athletes or whatever sport, you're going to say, oh, he's different than the other 10,000 that I hear and read about every day. Nobody's that stupid. Now, I'm not saying it's right. Again, listen, I say it again. There's no excuse for what Tiger Woods does or the rest of pro athletes that cheat on their wives. I tell them not to get married. That's my thought process. Why are you getting married? But when you marry one of them, is there any evidence in your mind that's going to tell you that it's different than the last 10 million one that happened? Now, maybe back in the day it wasn't as bad, but it happens all the time now.
Well, what typically happens when you get into a marriage or when you get into a relationship is you start off with a clean slate and you don't prejudge. Okay? I mean, yeah, it happens a lot. It happens often. But I'm not, like, let's say if I meet some athlete, right? And we hit it off. I'm not going to prejudge him and say, yeah, I don't think I want to go too far into this relationship because he's definitely going to cheat on me in the future. You can't do that in a relationship.
You shouldn't. But when you see the girls knocking on his hotel room door, and then him entertaining some of them, and him talking to some of them, and then them keep coming, you should start thinking, there's a pretty good chance this will happen. I'm just saying there's so much evidence.
All right,
there's so much evidence.
Let me wrap this up. It's a good debate between you guys. I'm going to go with Anna, you have a right to expect that he's not going to cheat on you, of course. But at the same time, I hear what JR is saying, that these girls, these women, shouldn't be shocked. Okay? It's, you know what I'm saying? They shouldn't expect it necessarily, but shocked? I can't give them shocked. That's all. Okay? All right. Now, everybody's heard all sides. Let's move forward.
All right, so let's go to the absolute worst husband in the universe. All right? He is a 35-year-old man from New Zealand, and he is HIV positive. Since he's HIV positive, his wife denied him sex, and he was getting really tired of it. So he thought it would be a great idea to prick her with a needle that had his HIV-infected blood on it while she was sleeping.
Yeah, well, that's classy because he was trying to give her HIV. So then he's like, oh, well, you got it, I got it. Let's just move on with our lives and keep on having sex. Now, because the sex was more important to him than her life. And guess what happened? She got HIV. I mean, this story ranks up there with the Taliban stories and the stoning stories and how much it enrages me. You selfish fucking prick. Okay? I mean, just so you can get laid, I mean, then get divorced or do something, but you're going to go kill your wife so you can get a little bit more booty? I mean, yes, HIV still kills people. Like, it's like Magic Johnson didn't die, so everybody thinks, oh, AIDS, no big deal or something. I don't know what he thought, right? But now he's facing 14 years. I think he should get life, man. Throw away the key. You're going to give her a death sentence, so why should we let you out? Who else are you going to prick in the leg? Because, I don't know, I just kind of want to be friends with him, and he wouldn't play basketball with me. So I pricked him in the leg, with my HIV blood.
You know, and what drives me crazy, I mean, the entire story drives me crazy, but what takes it even one step further is after he pricked her with the needle, right? She asked him, like, did you just do that? Did you prick me with a needle? And he said no, and he kept denying it. So, I mean, what if she believed him and never went to the doctor, never got tested, and her HIV turned into full-blown AIDS? All because of him, all because he was just this selfish piece of shit.
Yeah, and in the end, shockingly enough, his plan didn't work because she found out that she had HIV and he gave it to her, and she didn't sleep with him. In fact, she had him arrested.
Yeah.
Who would have figured? Now, like I said, he's facing up to 14 years in jail, but I don't think that nearly does it, if you ask me. What a fool this guy is. All right, I got worked up on that one. I mean, can you be a worse husband than killing your wife like this?
No, it's absolutely
for these kind of selfish purposes? Now, she's not dead yet, obviously, and she's going to fight it, but at least giving her a deadly disease that she's got to, at the very minimum, deal with for the rest of her life? Man, I got worked up on that one. Okay, listen, we're out of time.
Oh, I love this story.
Okay, so look, we'll save the Santa giving you a pap smear for members only, because it is a hell of a story. Okay, so we got that coming up for you. We got my Fruity Tooty haircut in Beverly Hills, and then Iran gives Bolivia aid but with disastrous conditions. So those are the three stories that are definite for members only, and they're all fun. We'll see you there, not live today. Young Turks.
Mess with